Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist here at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks comparison, side-by-side comparison between the Amazon Fire HD8 tablet released in 2020 and the Amazon Fire HD8 tablet released in 2022. 2 years passed between the release of these two devices, and there are some significant updates in the Fire HD8 2022. But like for like, is it really worth the upgrade? Let's find out. So both devices are part of Amazon's new industrial design language, which has rounded corners, relatively slim bezels. Both devices have a polycarbonate, or plastic to you and me, back, and they have a little camera in one corner. At the top they have all the ports on one side of the tablet. They have a Courage port, that's a 3.5mm audio jack for standard headphones, USB Type-C port for data and charging, a power button and a volume button. The other side of the tablet has its stereo speakers, nothing on the other side, and then at the bottom we have a slot for the micro SD card, because both the Fire HD8 2020 and the Fire HD8 2022 are expandable with micro SD cards. So interesting that there is a slight change in design. If you look at the top of the tablet, the positioning of the buttons and the ports is just slightly different. So you'll see that on the Fire HD8 2022, the black one here, the power button and the volume rockers are swapped around. The microphone hole is more or less in the same place. The USB Type-C place has been moved slightly further out to the edge, and the Courage port, or the 3.5mm audio jack, is in the same place. So this is an important thing to bear in mind, especially when you're buying a case for these tablets. The cases for the Amazon Fire HD8 2020 may work for the 2022, provided they're not of the clingy TPU case types. You'll need to look at ones that have full access, as in nothing going over the ports and cutouts, for this side of the tablet for them to work. In terms of the speaker placements, they're in exactly the same place, and we can say the same thing for the micro SD slots. In terms of industrial design, that's something that is a slight difference, may drive your decisions on cases, or if you already have an HD 2020, a Fire HD8 2020, such as this one, and you want to get the new one, you need to make sure that the case you have may work or not with the Amazon Fire HD8 2022. Anyway, at the front, the HD screens are pretty much the same. Now, HD is a very relative term, but for example, YouTube recently decided to no longer mark 720p as a high definition video source. So bear that in mind. These are capable of HD in the sense of 720 video, because they're 1280 by 800 pixels in resolution. But it is good quality video, especially on an 8-inch tablet, which you're likely to be using when traveling or sitting at home on the sofa. It's actually really quite good. Both these screens are, in this case, LCD screens. They have a little bit of distortion when you look at them from the side, but they're not too bad. At full brightness, they are pretty decent, and I'll just show you. I do not have them at full brightness at the moment. Both of them are, as you can see, about 3/4 up, but they're both great tablets. The Fire HD8 2022 has a slightly brighter, more color-saturated screen, in my opinion. Just putting things side by side, the Fire HD8 2022 has a better screen. It's brighter and better looking in my view. But if you don't have them side by side, you probably won't notice. The Fire HD8 2020 is still a very good, affordable tablet in 2022. And in terms of industrial design, it's an all black front, and you have that selfie camera at the top here in the middle. So this is highlighting the fact that this generation of tablets, this generation of industrial design, is intended to be used in landscape mode, unlike the previous old style tablets, which had their selfie camera or video calling camera at the top on one of the shorter sides. That was definitely an intention for the tablet to mainly be used in portrait mode. Anyway, let's move on to the more important specs. What's going on inside this relatively slim set of tablets? Well, both devices are running a MediaTek chip. This is a relatively well-known company in the tech industry. MediaTek make devices for smartphones, smart TVs, tablets, desktop computers, even Chrome OS tablet computers are and laptop computers run on MediaTek chipsets. So they're tried and tested, they're pretty reliable, but more importantly, they are relatively cool when in heavy use. So let's look at the details, because this is where there is a significant update between the two devices. You'll see that on the left here I have the Amazon Fire HD8 2020. It's only showing 4 cores. That means there's 4 hamsters on the inside running little wheels that make the tablet run. It's a quad-core processor, which is paired with 2 GB of RAM. And on the right I have the Fire HD8 2022. This one has 6 processors. That's 6 hamsters running their wheels, running the operating system and the show on this tablet. And in this case as well, it's paired with 2 GB of RAM. For the intended use of these tablets and for their price range, that's 2 GB of RAM is more than enough. And I have to say, in day-to-day use, the Amazon Fire HD8 2022, the newer one on the right, is slightly smoother, slightly faster. It opens up apps and signs into things like Disney Plus, Netflix, just slightly faster. It's a smoother overall experience. Other things to bear in mind is storage. Both these devices are the most affordable version of the Fire HD8 tablets. They're not the Plus version. And I opted in both cases to have the Amazon ads on them, just to bring the price down, and I'm quite happy with that. Now, in terms of storage, both devices have 32 GB of internal storage. That translates to 24 GB of usable storage for users. And in my use, the slightly older tablet probably has more content downloaded. It's at 16 GB available. The Amazon Fire HD8 2022, I haven't used as much yet, but it has 20 GB of storage available. In terms of battery life, both tablets do me with a day of travel, and that's mainly watching videos or listening to audiobooks over Bluetooth earphones. So when I'm traveling, usually via airplane, I will have it in airplane mode, watching a video on the tablet with Bluetooth earphones connected. Obviously, the Courage port is there. I do have the option of using that, but in that sort of condition, it will last for a good 8 to 14 hours of continuous use in between flights and other activities. When it comes to charging, both devices charge with USB Type-C. This is great because that's what most modern smartphones use. The chargers that come in the box are 10-watt chargers. They're not really fast. But if you pair a slightly faster charger, it will charge slightly faster. It depends on the type of plug you're plugging into. There's lots of variables, the cable you're using. But in my experience, especially on a plane, you can plug this tablet into the USB port in the airplane seat, and it will happily charge faster than it's using battery whilst playing back video from apps such as Netflix. Now, both devices are capable, as I said, of playing back Netflix content. The important thing to bear in mind is that they are capable of playing HD video back, therefore they will be able to make the most of that screen. Another big difference is not something as apparent because of the launcher and Amazon services and the fact that you're using third-party apps, is the operating system. The operating system itself is different. So if we just look at the settings menu, you can see that the Amazon Fire HD8 2022 has a newer version of Fire OS, the Amazon Android distribution, which runs on these tablets. Essentially, the Amazon Fire HD8 2022 is a newer version of Android. It's based on Android 11. It's Amazon Fire OS 8, whereas the Amazon Fire HD8 2020 is running on Android 9, which is what Fire OS 7 is based upon. Now, we're not unaware at this point if Amazon Fire OS 8 will come to this older tablet. We're not sure at the moment, but just in general, it is slightly more polished, more colourful, and more responsive. That may in part be down to the faster chip on it. Anyway, in terms of durability, both devices are pretty much the same. They're great tablets. I've enjoyed using them, and in my day-to-day use up to now, I have never installed the Google Play Store. This is something that you can do. If you'd like a Tech Travel Geeks guide on how to install the Google Play Store and services on these Amazon Fire tablets, do leave a comment in the section below and let us know what you'd like to see. Anyway, I'll wrap up this video. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, pretty much anything we think makes the travel experience better. But for now, I'll just wrap up this video saying that I have upgraded from the Amazon Fire HD8 2020 to the Amazon Fire HD8 2022. I'm happy with the upgrade just because of the speeds and the general experience. I haven't got rid of my Amazon Fire HD8 2020. This is becoming a sofa device. It's great for maybe looking up things on IMDb whilst I'm watching something on TV, or checking Twitter or the news whilst I'm watching something which is really not entertaining that much. But that's just my opinion. If you have other thoughts, leave a comment in the section below. Let us know what you think. But for now, thanks for watching, and goodbye from me.